Hi, fellow students in the MBA program at Thomas More. My name is Janie Toll. I wanted to tell you a little bit about me before I go through the rest of my slides. First, I've probably been in my professional career for almost about 30 years. I have a family with a blended family of 5 children ranging from 12 years old to almost 26 years old. I also have a rather large extended family, so the holidays can be pretty interesting. I like to be a host, so a lot of times I have the family over for the holidays for both Thanksgiving and Christmas, and I do try to do some things outside of those holidays so we can get together. I also have a dog. She's still actually a puppy. She just turned a year old. She's a chocolate lab, so she's the apple of all our eyes right now because she's pretty much the baby in the family. And we have several fish. Some of my hobbies include cake decorating. I enjoy it mainly because I love to see the look that people have on their faces when I give them a cake that I put a lot of time and attention into for them. As well as I also like to do crafts. I have what's called a silhouette cameo, where it's basically a machine that cuts out different things for you. So you can make signs, you can also make t-shirts with vinyl sayings or pictures on them. So it's a nice distraction from all of the real business that I call school work and taking care of the family. So it's something I really enjoy, and it takes a lot of time, but it's also something that is very therapeutic to get my mind off of other things. I also like, believe it or not, cutting the grass because it gives me a chance to think and with no interruption, because a lot of times nobody's in line to do the grass cutting around my house. As far as my career goes, as I may have mentioned already, I've been in my career for about 30 years. Right now I'm with CTI Clinical Trials and Consulting. We call a professional services company that manages clinical trials. We're kind of the middleman between the drug companies and the doctors that administer the clinical trials. Prior to CTI, which I've been here for 10 years, I was at the University of Cincinnati, where I was there for 12 years as a research administrator. My last title was Senior Business Administrator, so I ran a department called Cell and Cancer Biology. I oversaw all of the facilities, the graduate programs, and the business office. In the business office, we also took care of research grants that came from federal, state, and local or governments, as well as sometimes we had private funding and endowments where people had endowed money for certain types of research. That was, I think, one of my funnest jobs, because when I was at the University of Cincinnati, I spent quite a bit of time on the lecture circuit with an organization called NCURA, which stood for National Council of University Research Administrators. So it was basically just instructing and teaching people on best practices and the laws regarding federal and state and other types of funding. I am a Cincinnati native. I've lived in Cincinnati all my life, although I like to travel a lot outside of Cincinnati. There's a good feeling of being a Cincinnati native. We're, a traditionally Midwestern state and city. We have our fun things like Grater's ice cream and Kings Island and La Rosa's and things like that, but it's always nice to get out of the city and experience new things. I think one of my favorite things was for work at CTI, where I work now. We have a global presence, so we have offices all over the world, and at one point, I think about 3 years ago, I traveled to Germany, and on my way there I spent a weekend in Paris. So I think by far, even though it was work related, it was one of my favorite trips ever. Um, as far as being a Cincinnati native, though, I am a longtime sports fan of the Bengals, the Cincinnati Reds, and especially the Bearcats. Since I did work at UC for 12 years, and I also have an associate's degree in accounting at UC, and did a lot of my other work towards my bachelor's degree at UC. So I'm tried and true, but I'm always out for a good sports or type of competition.